in order to do for us the welcoming remarks.
Mandizibulisele ngale sasa ndiqale kumfundisi obesivulela lo mhlangano nale program umfundisi uFuzani, all the reverends that are here. I know that we as a municipality we have been receiving the support from our fraternal. And we know that during your morning prayers, you do pray for leaders of this municipality and that of the country at large. Without those prayers would be nothing. Greetings to all leaders that are coming from different departments. I've seen that Department of Social Development, which is a department that deals with communities, and our appreciation in their support on social programs that they have planted in our own communities. Greetings to that department. And Department of Education, I know that it is always represented by the principals of the schools. I see that principals are here, and we know that principals are representatives of the Department of Education. All other government departments, SANRAL, that is amongst us, which we have requested partnership with them because we wanted this day to be a day that we would not forget, a day that will capacitate our SMMEs, the sharing information on projects that we are going to have. SANRAL then agreed to be in partnership with us on this day. All PSC members in different projects that you are representing the community in, all SMMEs in their different category that are part of this meeting, coming to the troika of this institution, the executive committee, also the councillors at large, and the administration led by acting MM, Mr. Mbebe. In my welcoming, I would want to talk to few issues, and I would also, maybe before doing that, I've seen that Councillor Mbochani, who's the MMC for iPad in the district, has entered the house. I know that the executive mayor of the district is on his way. Today, the premier deployed the MEC for Public Works and Infrastructure to join us. It is only late in the evening last night when the letter was coming from the MEC indicating that the president will be in the Eastern Cape in Alice today. Therefore, the premier has requested his cabinet to be part of that event. Therefore, an apology was then passed through to us by the MEC of Public Works and Infrastructure. But I know with the presence of the district, we would have a good program. Yesterday, we were in Cradock. We had a very good program with the executive mayor of the district and all stakeholders that were there. It was the same program that we are having here today. Ndiyanibulela ke ndisitsho ukuthi le nhlanganiso ibimele uba i-embracewa ngu-MEC wakwa Public Works and Infrastructure. ucela uxolo ngephezolo kuba upresident uzawuba lapha kwiphondo leMpuma Koloni. Wacela ke upremier ukuba icabinet yakhe ibekho yonke xa upresident efika kweliphondo lethu. Kodwa inkqubo lesiza kuyiqhuba ne-district municipality yethu. U-executive mayor uza kusijoyina, uCouncillor Mbotshane sekhona phakathi kwethu usijoyinile. I'm welcoming you in a municipality that is having a good story to tell, but also in a municipality that is having its own challenges. In telling the good story as this municipality and the administration that was elected in 2016 up to now, we are proud to announce that we are one municipality that makes sure that when we receive capital budget for capital projects, we spend the budget 100% of it. We are not calculated amongst municipalities where it would say we could not spend millions and then they are being turned back to treasury. We don't have that luxury as this municipality because we are in financial distress. Therefore, whatever comes our way as funding, we make sure that we spend it accordingly with time frames that are set so that we are able to receive an additional funding. Proud to announce that this municipality in this financial year is amongst the 7 municipalities in the province that has received additional funding for capital projects. The history is telling that for all these financial years, we were able to spend accordingly. And that we put our appreciation to Department of Technical Services. We know it's a collective effort, but technical service is driving our capital projects. Secondly, we are proud to announce that this municipality that is welcoming you has received for 4 consecutive financial years an unqualified audit report. Even in this year, Mfundisi Ufatyela, in this financial year, Auditor General came virtually in this hall on the 31st of this month of March, and when he was giving us the report, it has been confirmed that we again have made it. We are on unqualified. The next step from unqualified is a clean audit. Ndiyayazi ke Tata Mose kwenye iward ekwakukhe uMM wazo introduce i-outcome ye-audit, wafika wathi sifumene i-qualified audit report. Baqhwaba bahlali kuba kaloku kuthi what is qualified is what is progressive. Kanti kwi-terminology ye-audit ne-financial, i-qualified audit report, it's a bad report. Then when you are unqualified, it is then that you are having a good report. Ndifuna ke ningaqhwabi xa sithi qualified, niqhwabe xa sisithi unqualified. Again, the municipality of Inxuba Yethemba, if you remember, in the last administration and the past years, Middelburg used to cry and say we seem to be a stepchild in this municipality. All capital projects are done in Cradock, but we are proud of this administration that was elected from 2016 up to now. The equitable share of capital projects in all wards of Inxuba Yethemba. If you go to Ward 1, you will find that yesterday, Empolweni, which is the middle income housing area, all the streets have been paved. You go to Ward 2, that was a capital project with a lot of money. You go to Ward 2, the whole of Ward 2 currently is in progress. You go to Ward 3, Makwemba Street is currently a capital a project in progress. Ward 4 receive a toolbach paving with stormwater, and also high mask lights were done in Ward 4. Ward 5, currently we have a resealing project that is underway and is on practical completion. It's one of the projects that we visited yesterday. Ward 6, the wall of Ward 6, the paving in the streets of Ward 6 has been done. Ward 7, your stadium in Mitros, Gemsboklaan, which has not been completed, but also currently the launch of high mask lights in Ward 7. Ward 8, the wall of Lusaka, the phase 1 electrification project, which just needed to be energized so that it can get lights to the houses. Ward 7, you also have phase 1 electrification of Rosemead and the second phase of electrification of Rosemead. So we've got 9 wards, but you won't find any ward that this municipality and this administration is not focusing on. We make sure that on the capital project we focus in each and every ward. Ward 9, if you come to Ward 9, resealing project, there's also a PT stadium that has been done in this administration. We also have a custom feed project, which we are hoping that custom feed, which is a project that is led by Tatumbo Chani, who's now amongst us. That custom feed will be at a level of the custom feed that will feed all the animals in the district. We want such a custom feed, not a small custom feed, but Inxuba Yethemba, through Rafi project, has been identified as one of the municipality that must focus on the feed of our animals. Lastly, we are a municipality welcoming you at a time that this administration made sure when they enter the municipality, a municipality that used to pay salaries of workers through an overdraft. Currently, with this administration, that is no longer a case. We pay salaries not through going a banking sicele overdraft. It is no longer the case. But it is a municipality with challenges also. The protest marches that has been there, especially during this time of 2021, actually even at the time of pandemic, that was putting the lives of people at risk. Whilst we're supposed to be staying distance, but then people were out there showing their disconcern. And that then has led to the report of the MEC, because he had to put an investigation in this institution on all the allegations that were put by people. That report is final and is back from the MEC. We are taking it to communities. Again, in other words, we are being disrupted when we want to put this report. And you wouldn't understand, because people, when they have complained and the investigation has been done and there are findings and action plan that is suggested, allow therefore the report to go to its own rightful owners, which is the communities, so that we can engage on it. After that, implementation of that report should then come. We are amongst the municipalities that are under financial distress, amongst 25 municipalities in the province that has been identified by COGTA for support. Hence, then COGTA has given DPSA a mandate to support this municipality on programs that relates to revenue enhancement, on programs that relates to small town revitalization, on also assisting the municipality on our big debt that we have with ESCOM. We have a debt with ESCOM with a court judgment that is there, meaning that that support from COGTA is really needed. Maybe it's coming home to all government departments, especially COGTA and SALGA, the fact that municipalities, the funding model of municipalities needs to be reviewed, because you can't have government departments that will then, when they are putting their budget, it is money that is already there on their kitty. But on municipalities, you have to work on assumptions that you will be able to collect. Feel welcome today. SANRAL is amongst us. They are going to present to all of you, especially the SMMEs, projects that are then related to Inxuba Yethemba municipality, and also capacitation programs that they would want to suggest. And our partnership, we hope that it will go beyond today, so that during the financial year, we are then able to have the capacity programs that are set aside as packages for our SMMEs. Feel welcome. This is a program, yes, will be indoors, listening to only 2 presentations, but after that, all of us, we need to go and visit these projects, because these are not municipal projects. These are your projects as a community. If it was not the fact that we are in level 1, we would call the communities, all of them, to be at the site, but we can't. We have to obey the regulations. Therefore, as PSCs representing communities in those projects will be handed over to yourselves at a time when it is proper, and we are given an open check by the president that everybody can gather in one place. We'll call our communities and we'll be able therefore to do the necessary thing. Diyanamkela nonke bahlali kwaye le mini ithatheni njengemini ebalulekileyo in the history of this municipality. Thank you.
Masibulele Sotolopo for welcoming all of us in this important gathering. But it's quite important that in a minute that I reflect on something that I think we all deserve to give all of us siqhwabe izandla on the progress that this municipality is making in the midst of all challenges it has been confronted with, compounded as well by COVID-19 starting last year in March, with the reflection that the executive mayor is making in terms of all the projects and also other related progress which this municipality is making. I think we deserve to clap hands for that. May I request the House? Nkosi kakhulu. Now we are going to move forward. May I request our, you see there is this thing here, lockdown. Somebody was saying it has rearranged the way we relate and we do things. And to such an extent that I know in my area where I stay, and I want somebody to go and attend meetings there in metros. For every moment somebody says something or speaks, when that person stands up and when that person is about to sit, hands will be clapped. I think people in metros will agree with me. That is an appreciation of whatever that has been said at that particular moment, and also a gesture of encouragement on the basis of what is being done. May I request that we unlock ourselves from lockdown? We are at least now at level 1, by making sure that we give this particular engagement a vibrancy, as presentations are going to be made, as speakers also going to speak. May I request our honorable speaker to come forward and present to us the introduction of our guest.
Goeiemorgen allemaal. Good morning everybody. Molweni. Baslali. Mine is very much short. It's just to introduce the guests that are here this morning. The executive mayor of the district is not yet here, but is on his way, as the executive mayor has alluded to. So we will wait until then. When he's arriving, then we will introduce him to you. But first of all, we want to start to introduce our special guests to this meeting. I want to first introduce Councillor Mbochana of the Cradock District Municipality. He is the MMC of Local Economic Development, IPET, and he is here. Can you please stand for me? That's his down. Then we have our team here of SANRAL. I want to introduce to you Mr. Mbete, the team lead for stakeholder and social facilitation in the Eastern Cape. Can Mr. Mbete please stand for us? Then also we have his other team members that are here. Shanaz Lochenberg, the PR agency of FTI. And also Salisha Pillay, she is the event coordination from the head office of SANRAL. That is here, there at the back. Thank you. Those are our guests that are from outside. And now I also want to do an exercise on recognizing our councillors that are here this morning. First of all, I want to recognize our Executive Mayor, Councillor Zonke, that is also here this morning. Can Executive Mayor please wave? Then I also want to recognize our Chief Whip, Councillor Norkia, which is also the Corporate Services Portfolio Head. Can Chief Whip please stand? We have also here Councillor Mzinzi. She is the Portfolio Head of IPET and Technical Services Department. Can you please stand? We also have Councillor Masawe, the MMC of BTO, is also the Program Director of this program today. Can you please stand, Councillor? Then we also have here Councillor Mgeza. She is Portfolio Head of Community Services, and she's also the Ward Councillor of Ward 1. Then we have also our ward councillors here. We have Councillor Mankaman here, the Ward Councillor of Ward 2. Can you please stand, Councillor? We also have here the Ward Councillor of Ward 6, Councillor Diamond. Also the Ward Councillor of Ward 7, Councillor Semi. Also the Councillor of Ward 8, Councillor Msali. And then the Councillor of Ward 9, Councillor Bene, who's also the Chairperson of MPEC, is also here this morning. Then also I want to introduce our administration so that our people can know exactly who is which also. The acting MM, I don't see him here, Mr. Mbebe is our acting municipal manager and is also our corporate services director. He was sitting just next to the executive mayor, but I don't see him here. Then we also have the director of IPET, Mrs. Makwaba, can you please stand? We also got here our Community Services Director, Matwala. Can you please stand for us? And then we also have the Director of Technical Services, Mr. Nomandela. Can you please stand for us? Is he also out? Okay, he's also not here, but he is here, but he's just out. They are dealing with some other administrative issues. Those are the leadership, political and administratively, that I introduced to you. So if there are any problems or something, you can just knock at the door of this leadership that I just recognized today in this meeting. Thank you so much, Program Director.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. We are now going to move forward so that we progress swiftly with our program. May I request that we clap hands and raise our member who's going to. In fact, we're not going to get there. Let me just again add to Executive Mayor. I'll remind you in terms of what we said earlier. We have made some changes, Mosne, in the program because of our guest speaker will be taking after the presentations are made. So what we'll be doing now in terms of the program, we'll request MMC, Umama Mzinzi, to undertake a process of dealing with us with the purpose of the session of today. Can we clap hands for that?
Enkosi mhlali ngaphambili. Manje thabathele nxaxheba yokuba ndibulise kwi-leadership Inxuba Yethemba ekhokhela nge-executive noncedo zonke. Ndibulise uKhansila Mbotshane osuka kwingingqi. Ndibulise i-directors ezikunye nathi, officials from i-sector departments. Ndibulise ezona ndwendwe zethu zanamhlanje. Iindwendwe zethu ezibekekileyo zanamhlanje ngaba liaising committee, ngaba SMMEs. Ndiyanibulisa ngele nkosi igama, amen. I was greeting everybody, including the very special people that we invited here, the SMMEs, the liaising committee, those our guests for today. I was greeting them in the name of my Lord Jesus Christ. Amen. Okay. Ndimele ukwenza i-purpose yanamhlanje. Today we are handing over, as Executive Mayor have already alluded, 6 projects to the community of Middelburg. We are also having a partnership with SANRAL, who is also going to present to our guests, to our guest, lento anayo emkhonweni wakhe. SANRAL is having something that will make you smile in this room. The reason for us to invite the SMMEs and the liaising committee, let me start with the project liaising committees. Those are the people that carried a heavy load in their shoulders whilst the project iqhuba, because it's them that the workers in the project, the community that are talking to them with the problems, maybe with their grievances or with project. Siyababulela abo bantu because abanamali bayamkelayo bayonyulwa, andizuthetha ngalama allowance, sitting allowance, bayonyulwa to do the work for the community. Banomsebenzi ke obaluleke kakhulu. SANRAL is going to talk about that work because their work is so important. SANRAL is going to talk to that when a presenter. SMMEs zibalulekile. If SMMEs are not there to help low contracting kulu mhlawumbi or to take the project from scratch, asinabantu bokuthi yenzekile imisebenzi. Some of these projects were done solely by the SMMEs without a big project. Some of these projects that we are going to hand over were done by our communities. Unfortunately, Councillor Mochane, where's projects zethu ze-paving, we don't have PLCs because they are supposed to be here. Sinatwa se-Lusaka ne-PLC? No, we don't have. But in future, we want to have PLCs in those projects too, so that ingxaki zabo singayodibana nazo esayitini xa siyokuthi hand over project kube kukhona sidibane nengxaki zabo. Kanti when we are having a PLC, the PLC will liaise with the councillor of that ward. The councillor of that ward will liaise with the councillors. Kulapho ke ukubaleka kwenu. Yilento sithi namhlanje nizi VIPs zale meeting. Yilento sithi namhlanje ningabona abantu babalulekileyo sinimemileyo. Nizayibona ke lento yokubaleka kwenu. You are going to see it. Why are you so important when SANRAL is presenting there? And also when you are going out to hand over a project, and then you will be able to say, Diwenzile umsebenzi niqhwabele izandla. That is the purpose of the meeting. To embrace those who have done umsebenzi, and also to say thank you to the community esinyamezeleyo sinazo ingxakana zethu. Enkosi mhlali ngaphambili, ndicinga into yokuba ndingawenzi imade. That is the purpose of today, to hand over the project to the community. Thank you very much. And also SANRAL to say what he is going to say to the community of Middelburg. To the kandithetha nge-SMMEs uthi omnye umuntu mna no business omkhulu kuthe ngakhange undibize no business anyway ne. So siyazibandakanya zonke i-business xa sithetha nge-SMMEs. Thank you very much, enkosi.
Masibulele ku MMC uMamzenzi ngokusinika the purpose of the engagement of today, which is mainly is bordering within the department she is leading, which is the technical services in particular. Thank you very much, ma'am. We are now going to take again another step forward. May I check with our presenters in terms of the state of readiness? MM? May I check with our presenters in terms of state of readiness, Inxuba Yethemba, because that is the first presentation. Or do you want to rearrange? If you're not ready, we can do such, then you can come after, it's fine. Let's maybe request the SANRAL. May I request then members, guests that are present here, that we make use of our programs to take notes on all areas where we would want to raise clarities, questions, and so on, so that by the time we engage, at least we're able to raise those matters. Secondly, I would request that we allow both presentations to be done, but we must mark the first presentation as SANRAL. When it is completed with all its questions that we're having or comments and so on, we get to the second presentation, we do the same. By the time of conclusion, then we engage the presentations so that you are able to get straight to areas one would want to engage. I wanted just to reflect on that. Can SANRAL then, are you ready, ma'am? Oh, is that? Goes.
Yes. Executive Mayor of Inxuba Yethemba Local Municipality, Councillor Mbochane from the Cradock District Municipality, the mayoral executive members amongst us from Inxuba Yethemba, the speaker, the ward councillors, and distinguished guests. Let me take this opportunity and greet you all. My name is Siyavuya Mbete. I am standing on behalf of Siswelega Zindika, who is the stakeholder coordinator in the southern region for SANRAL. Today we are going to share some of the work that SANRAL is currently doing at Inxuba Yethemba Local Municipality. I will try and not to be too long, as I understand that the program of the day is still very long. But there is something that I think maybe Executive Mayor, when we were at Cradock, one of the members, I'm not sure whether he's a member of business or a member of the community, they made a comment when we were doing registration, and they were saying, we want to make sure that the people who are coming here are actually the people from Cradock. We were chased at, I'm not sure whether Takastad, and we were chased and we were not allowed to participate. And for a second, I thought to myself, how do you respond to this kind of question or consent? And it is worrying, I must say, Councillor Mbochane, that our society or our areas are slowly becoming too small, and we are slowly closing the opportunities that are meant for the general public. I think, in my thinking, it is a political problem, and also that needs an intervention, and that the government, both at a local level, provincial and a national level, needs to address. I realize that this is not the only problem for Inxuba Yethemba Local Municipality. In all the SANRAL projects that you go into, you find out that people, they have this growing concern. There is this tendency of saying that no, you cannot come to this project because we were chased away as SMMEs from the project that was happening in other area. So, according to the Treasury regulations, all people of South Africans, they have a right to go and compete in a tender anywhere, any part of the world. It is a growing concern, and it is worrying, and we need to educate our SMMEs that as the business, the nature of the business, it must be competitive. And until we have capacitated and empowered SMMEs, that they should not be afraid that they have to compete with other SMMEs. And also not close out, because SANRAL is a national entity, you cannot now start regionalizing it and localizing it and say that people that are coming to a SANRAL event are not allowed because they are coming from another region. We are all South Africans, and if it is a state-owned entity, a national entity, you are here as SANRAL as part of addressing and giving access to opportunities to address some of the challenges that the SMMEs are experiencing. Without any waste of time then, I will go through our short presentation on what currently SANRAL is busy with in this local municipality and the district. I was hoping that this will assist me to move the slides over there, but seemingly I now have a challenge. Currently, okay. Not this one. Okay. Okay. Apologies about that. Sometimes the technology is not so friendly for us. So we are going to be talking about the current projects of SANRAL here at Inxuba Yethemba Local Municipality. Here we go. Maybe I'm not operating it properly. There you are. Okay. I want to give up to this technology.
Can I request maybe if somebody can assist you
Yes.
while you speak in so that they operate?
Yes, I can talk through the slides, so I don't have to have an absolute control. So can you go to the next slide for me? Thank you. SANRAL in the southern region, which is the Eastern Cape, is currently managing over 4,900 kilometers of the road network in the Eastern Cape. And the SANRAL in the national level is actually managing over 22,000 kilometers of the road network. Now, the southern region is looking at advertising at about 70 projects in the financial year 2021 and 2022. And then also SANRAL has injected over 33 billion over the years in the southern region. As I had indicated earlier on, that at a national level, SANRAL is managing over 22,000 kilometers of road network, and here in the southern region, it is actually 4,900. You'll remember we have about 9 provinces. Our province seems to be having a highest number of the kilometers which are managed by the eastern region. Let's look at the projects currently that we have at Inxuba Yethemba. We had said we are going to actually talk about all the projects in the Inxuba Yethemba. Yes, there are other projects within the Chris Hani District Local Municipality. If you can pass the slide for me. Remember, the purpose of us talking about the projects here at Inxuba Yethemba Local Municipality it is because we want it to become relevant to you. You are not limited in terms of these projects. There are other projects that you may be interested within the Chris Hani District Municipality, but for purposes of understanding what is happening within the Inxuba Yethemba Local Municipality, we have one project which is R56, Middelburg to Molteno. The value of that project, it is about 350 million. It is a road routine maintenance, it's a special maintenance project. And the site for that project, it is at Steinberg. We also have a project between Cradock and Hofmeyer, which is worth about 200 million. Sorry, that project, it is at the mobilization stage. The contractor has been appointed and the site have been set up. I'm talking now back to the one R56. Now there are issues of packages which are being discussed at a PLC level. We also have your Cradock to Hofmeyer. The project is worth about 200 million. That project is at a tender stage currently, which is closing on the 9th of April in the next few days. So if you think you can qualify for that tender, you can go and put in your tender. And then we have another project, Fish River to Cradock. It's a road upgrade that is worth about 250 million. And the project is currently at a tender stage. We have another project which is R61 Cradock to Takastad. Here, the people from Takastad who are chasing people from Cradock. We have the project, there is a special maintenance project which is worth about 150 million. And the project currently is at a tender, it's to be rendered in construction stage. Can you go to the next slide, please? We also have another big project of from Nanaga to Middelburg. It's a road routine maintenance at 51 million. And the value, it's at a construction stage. R61 to N9 to N6, it's a road routine maintenance. The project is worth about 52 million, still also at a construction stage. R56 Middelburg to Indwe, a road routine maintenance worth about 60 million. It's at a tender stage. And then another project, it's a project, it's worth about 60 million. Also at a tender stage, almost at a stage where we are going to appoint a contractor. And then we've got another road routine maintenance at Cradock worth about 60 million as well. It's also at a tender stage. Now, those are the projects that SANRAL has at this local municipality. But there are other projects in the districts and in the province that you are not limited only to them. As long as you are a business and you are within South Africa, you have a right to compete in any of those projects. Now, SANRAL has got a 14-point plan, which is a Bible that guides everything that happens within SANRAL, so that we do not do things haphazardly. So if you can take me to the first slide. The purpose of the 14-point plan is to actually facilitate better project level management at a local communities and local structures. Is to ensure that we do communicate and become transparent and about everything that we are doing in every project. But also it is is for the purposes of inclusivity and how the projects are allocated and the beneficiation of black businesses within the communities and the participation of the community at large. And these principles of 14-point plan, they include not only for SMMEs, but also how the local labor is sourced. And also, when you have each and every project, it is a requirement, it's a SANRAL requirement that you establish a PLC. And the PLC, which is the structure that oversee the running of the project, how the local SMMEs are subcontracted, how the local labor is sourced, and also to make sure that the processes that are followed within each and every project are fair. Now, the chairperson of that PLC and the secretariat, it is a representative or an employee from SANRAL. In as much as you will have your PLC members coming from all different structures, which we'll talk about. One, we will have a representative from the SMMEs, we'll have representative from people with disability, we'll have a representative from your military veterans. And the military veterans does not mean MK veterans. It means all the military veterans. And also a representative from youth, the representative from women. We need to make sure that they are all represented in the PLC. And then also, under the auspices of the PLC, there is what you call in the projects of local municipality community liaison. In this case, we call them project liaison officer. It's a PLO. That PLO is appointed under the auspices of the PLC. And it has to be somebody who is actually coming from the community, who knows the community. So, what is important that the PLC also oversee is the appointment of the local area traffic accommodation, the targeted enterprises, and they are all defined. If what is it that we call a targeted enterprise in terms of the project that we are looking at, and also targeted suppliers. And gone are the days whereby you find the consultant comes to Middelburg and they bring their own SMMEs, they bring their own service providers, they bring their own PLO. Now the contractor needs to consult with the community. It needs to work hand in hand with the PLC so that we make sure that there's a beneficiation of the local partners. So what the PLC also does, you work on the database of all the SMMEs within the area, and also the database, which is usually the municipalities, they lead the process of organizing that database, be it for the SMMEs or for the targeted labor, and we make sure that that process is followed and it is transparent, so that we don't come back and say, how was the certain person appointed? So the issue even of appointing a PLO, it is a process that needs to be transparent, and we can go back to records and check if how was the PLO appointed for purposes of transparency. I've spoken about the database that is being collected to make sure that nothing is done and it's done in the closet and nobody knows how the process was done. And also the issues of how the tenders are being advertised on your local newspaper, on the municipality notice boards, and being distributed into the communities. That process needs to be transparent, and we need to know what processes were followed, and to make sure that that process is done. The PLO will be the person who will be from time to time doing all the rounds and making sure that that process is followed. And also, in a case whereby you find that that process was not followed and people are feeling that, no, there's been some dodgy things that were done, people, they now have an opportunity to go and appeal to SANRAL to say that we are not happy with the process that was followed. What is it that we can do to make sure that we are reversing that process? SANRAL look at the processes that were followed and verified if the information that was given, is it in line with the 14-point plan principles. Of course, the capabilities, there's nothing that because you are a service provider or a SMME that is coming from Middelburg, it's automatic that you are going to be given work. You have to be, one, be in a competitive advantage, know how to do the work, and also there's nothing that is going just to be handed over to you because you are an SMME that is coming from the Middelburg. Or I need to also emphasize that if you become a PLC member, you are now can no longer compete into any of the tender processes of issuing a project. So by virtue of being in the PLC, you are part of the decision of people who will decide about other SMMEs. So it means you will have an unfair advantage and you will have access to privileged information. So you cannot be in a position now to become a player and a referee. So it is important that we note that. And it is important that we emphasize that SMMEs, they won't be just be handed over. There will be processes that need to be followed. And you will be screened and you will be scored against other candidates that we actually will be competing with you. Now, what SANRAL does, he conducts in all of the projects some of the trainings to capacitate the SMMEs, to capacitate the interns, train the people of the area. Because at the end of the day, you don't want to bring a project and then you go and leave people with no skill. It's important that the skills are transferred to local people. Even the main contractor, whenever he is appointed, he needs to make sure that there is a process that followed to empower the local people. Because at the end of the day, we would want to see a company that comes from Middelburg to do the work that was done by the main contractor that came either from PE, Joburg, or all these big cities. So at the end of the day, our interest is to empower our people so that they can be able to stand on their own. And also, it is important that we identified areas, and as I had indicated earlier on, that Mayor, that some of the work that is being done within by the main contractor, there's an opportunity that the local municipality motivates for a community developmental project. That community developmental project, it is mainly and purely designed that the SMMEs, they partake, even if you do not get the opportunity to participate into the main contract, there is an opportunity that you can be able to participate in a local community developmental project. So those are some of the opportunities that not only when there are big projects, there are spin-offs for which the local municipality motivates, that the regional manager commits to community development projects. I think that summarizes the 14-point plan. I had said that the 14-point plan, it is the guide that assists in everything that SANRAL is doing in any project. And you have a right to say that what you guys are doing, it is against the 14-point plan. Because we are going to share the presentation with everyone who has participated, and we request that each and every person that is in this room signs the SANRAL register so that we can be able to be in a position to email you the presentation. Those are the contact details. I had said earlier on that I am standing on behalf of Siswelegazi, who is a stakeholder coordinator in the Southern region. There on the board, we have their contact details, her contact details. Feel free to contact her. She is, if she cannot take your call, she normally returns the calls. However, we are there as a support team, which you can ask questions a little bit later on. Without any waste of time, Program Director, thank you so much for the opportunity. Unfortunately, I cannot come up there.
Enkosi kakhulu, masibulele ku SANRAL nge presentation. As we indicated earlier on, we are going to take the second presentation from Inxuba Yethemba, so that once we're done with that, we get to the point where we are going to engage these presentations. Acting MM.
I'm too short. Fushane. The program director, MMC PTO, executive mayor of Inxuba Yethemba, the iPad MMC, Councillor Mbochane, the members of the executive of Inxuba Yethemba, ward councillors, sector departments that are here, our twin sister, SANRAL, directors, my colleagues from Inxuba Yethemba, the unit manager, Mr. Matoto, SMMEs that are here, PSC, Kubahlali, Diabolis. MMC, we are in that period of elections. When I was counting that we are having 116 days to the 1st of August. And if we are taking 30 days of weekends, we are left with 86 days. I'm giving that scenario, Bahlali. I'm giving you that scenario. Kuba ndisithi ndizawucela kwabo bakwazi uthandaza, kwabo bakwazi uthetha nomveli nqanga, bathandazele the leadership that is in front of us. I think they will need strength. Bayanida uthandazelwa ngabakwazi uthandaza. My role is briefly to present within 5 minutes, Program Director, the projects for Inxuba Yethemba. We are having 6 projects that are going to be launched today. Project number 1 is the installation of high mast lights in Lusaka and Medros. And that project is in Ward 7 and Ward 8. the values for the projects are there, and also people that are going to benefit for that project. And also, if you can go to the electrification of Rosemead Phase 2, it also outlined the value and also the phase and people that are going to benefit. But those ones, two that I was mentioning, they are not going to be visited today. We are going to visit for the paving of Lusaka, that is at Ward 9, the resealing, that is at Ward 9, and the Lusaka Hall, that is in Ward 8, and the custom feed. In terms of the paving of Lusaka, the paving, I mean the project is at 75%, and it's a project that is funded by Cradock District Municipality. And the value for the project now, I think we have received 283,000 for salaries. And also the material, I think the material is bought from is bought by Inxuba Yethemba. I mean, sorry, the funding we're getting it from Inxuba Yethemba. Then we decide to get the employees, and also we decide to buy the material. But what is interesting about this project, there was no tender that was issued. Is people or is community members that are working with that project. The good work that is there is done by the community members. At present it is 75%. Then we are having discussions with Cradock, because Cradock has promised to also to pop up some money to making sure that the project is continuing. Then if we go to project number 4, which is its resealing, that project is at 95% complete, and there were 30 labours that benefited from the community, including the CLOs. The project number 5, which is construction of Lusaka, is also at 95%. Then they were benefited, and also we had to come up with 4 subcontractors that benefited out of that project. It's in its final stages. The last one is custom feed, which is also funded by Cradock. It was 900,000, but as Inxuba Yethemba, we are going to start with phase 2 of the project. Then we are having discussions where we can get more funds in terms of making sure that we produce a custom feed that is in high standard. Thank you very much, MMC.
Enkosi kakhulu, acting MM. Masiphinde siziqhwabele ezi presentations zombini. Mandibulele kakhulu. As we've indicated, according to a program, we are now at the item where we are going to engage the presentations. The order of engaging the presentations, it's not gonna be what has been presented. You will raise whatever in the form in which you have lined up your issues you want to raise, as long as you have noted them. Then thereafter, after everything else has been asked or comments were made, there will then be responses both from IYM as well as SANRAL. Oh, I see the gentleman is standing there at the back. He's still around us until we complete the part, because we still have to go a long path together with them. May I then give the opportunity for part of the program? I will give hands more or less. The first will be 10, so that we conclude. I will cut across so that I don't select one area. Then we take the next round so that we look at maybe if there's still a need, and then we conclude by giving the responders accordingly. May I get the hands? I see at the back there is Utata 1, nawe Mamubani, Utsika Ubaukhulu, then Mamubani 2. No, I'm coming, guys. I'm coming. Yeah, I've noted the hands. Then I'll be coming, Kubao. You are number 3, Tata. Yes. Then you will be number 4, Mr. Peterson, and then Mr. Pata, you'll be number 5. Then Mr. Rienes, you'll be number 6. You keep your numbers. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And then we go this side. Pakade 7. Maybe you have, no, I'm coming. 7, 8, and then you'll be number 9. Kaloki problem, Tata, you were giving attention there, your hand was lowered. So I was not sure. Then take your number, please, note your number. Ne? Yes, let me just give the first one. Is Abakon. Oh, Umfila must be 10 number 1. You will be number 10. Okay. Is that? Can we get somebody to can assist us? Okay.
Enkosi ngokela yami mandibulise kubahlali, ndibulise kumeya, ndibulise bonke abalulekileyo abantu. Ndine comments njena ezimbalwa ngokeli yami. I-comment yokuqala kutata ebepresenta uSANRAL. Uthe xa ethetha ufumene into eCradock ethi ingasabantu abazawuqashwa abangabase-Cradock locally. But ndivuye xa iphendula esithi sonke singabalapha eSouth Africa. Enyanisweni Comrade Masawa kuyanyanzeleka ipesenti yabantu abaninzi bathathwe kuloo ndawo sihlala kuyo. Ndivuyile xa iphendula loo nto. Ndivuye ke ngoku ndikhomente kule nto 14 point plans zakhe athethe ngazo. Isicelo sam ingase la 14 point plans azangayo ingaphelela lapha eholweni xa siphuma singayazi kuba zonke ezi contract zivela neplan ezintsha ezinhle but xa kufuneka zi-implementiwe zingenzeki Comrade yam. Okokugqibela kule nto ezi-PLOs ne-PLC ndiyacela ingase zonyulwe ekuhleni abantu bazibone, ungavuki kusasa ingathi liphupha sekuthiwa ubani nobani wanyulwe. Nasi isicelo sam kokheli yam. Enkosi.
Enkosi kakhulu tata. Second speaker, Mampani.
Enkosi mhlala ngaphambili. Mandibulise kwinkokheli zam ezifaka ngaphambili zonke ngokwesikhundla zazo. Uzoleka Bani lo utumileyo. Pha ku-SANRAL program director kukuthi pha kula njengoba bedakanga 14 point plan mabaqiniseke kuqala uba i-PLCs bazibhatala la sithi ngalo so that laa mdla ungavuki wokuparticipata kwiproject directly. Mabaqala babhatale sithi allowance ezikwi-PLCs. Okwesibini, Chair, ndikhalela uba sipropose ngokusilapha iproject
ekudala phofu siyiproposa kwangaphambili le ka-route 390 390 le isuka phambi kwehotele via i-Richmond. Ukuba comrade utata uMbotshane siserious ngokuboosta le tourism ne-economy yase-South Africa, le ndlela ndithetha ngayo i-shortest route from Durban to Cape Town. Ukuba ngake iprioritizwe ingake apha kwi-local yethu ibooste le nto kuthiwa yi-economy ne-tourism bese ndithetha ngayo ke-leadership. Ngokutsho ke mhlanga phambili siyayifaka phaa ku-SANRAL as proposal yelapha kule unit. Dize ke mhlanga phambili kule presentation Inxuba Yethemba. Before ndingene kwezi ndine-concern, andiboni le project ye-water treatment project ikhankanywa apha ngoba kaloku i-on-site and iyasikhumbani nayo. Mhlawumbi kaloku kwezinye izizathu uba ingabikho ke.
Khawuphinde yiphi?
Le yamanzi.
Okay.
Kule project yokuinstalla ku-high mast siyayibulela iza kuredusa ke mhlawumbi kwi-crime lesihleli sithetha ngayo sikhala ngayo. Kodwa ke sinayo i-concern yoba le consultant iphaa kule project yile ifeyile ukubuilda iholo nge-9.8 yem ke-9.8 iholo kangelibekho kwasheka kwakho only i-foundation nayo ibuyiswa izoba yi-consultant kule project high mast. Asingeke singabi nalo na ixhala into yoba kuzobakho monakalo na because ifeyile yasida umsebenzi kutewo. Ndiyarhalela ke siyayireyisa ke as resident as-Ward 8 sine-concern ngaloo nto. Kule as much ke sisamkela ke ezi project nezisakuthi kule construction of Lusaka community sandithethile kenye sinengxaki imali ye-fencing. Sinayo into ethi i-scope sala fencing satshintsha ayisiso esi sasipresentelwe kuthi, and loo nto ibangela uba ela holo nawo lingabonakali kakuhle because la fencing isondele kakhulu eholweni and ni-exposer kulaa nto yoba kuvandalizwe ela holo because alibonakali lisithwe la fencing because isondele. And ukuba uzawuba ne-event kwela holo uzawunyanzeleka iimoto zabantu ezininzi uzibeke ngaphandle apho mhlawumbi sicinga uba exposeke kule nto yokuqhekezwa. Enye into endirhalela uyitsho phaa kwiKhrizani, iKhrizani mayithatha uxanduva nayo ngeeprojekthi zazo Inxuba Yethemba. Umzekelo kule project ndithetha ngayo ibike yalixhoba loyizitoyitoyi nawufuniseka umasipala wethu funeka abe kwi-forefront yokukhusela ii-assets zaseKhrizani. Sirhalela into yoba njengoba ke bekukho ezaa toyitoyi bezikhona phaa, iKhrizani nayo mayithathe ixanduva nayo ngeeprojekthi zazo yenze yayo i-interdict so that zonke iiprojekthi ezilapha zizoba sekhuselweni zingadileyeki because la project siyazifuna sii-communities ezethu. Ngaloo mazwi ke sihlalo wam mandibe ndisima. Enkosi.
Thank you very much. May I request that we don't clap hands. We just listen because you won't clap hand for the first one. On the fourth one, you'll clap hand. But what is important is that we engage all the issues. Let's just allow the flow of people speaking without any interruption. Thank you.
Enkokheli yam ndikhalela ukwazi kwiKhrizani le paving yaseLusaka yeyiphi financial year iliqhubayo because kule financial year ka-2018-19 engazange iqhube but yabe yayiapruvelwe yi-funding. Now sikhalela ukwazi uba yeyiphi le iqhubayo ingaba ngu-2021 okanye iseyile engazange iqhube So that is very clear, Chair.
Thank you.
Good day. My name is Jerry Lowe. I'm a minister, Mfundisi, for those who don't understand. I would like to raise as a point also of a concern that you should think of the language issue. I'm not Xhosa, so I have no understanding what was said in terms of the question. It could be that I might ask the same question. So please see to that, Mr. MC, with regards to the language issue. We know that English is our language we can all communicate into. To the Executive Mayor, I would like to comment on terms of your audits that you've received for the past 4 years. Though I need to also highlight to you that we have a stepchild, or as the stepchild thing has been raised, with regards to Middelburg being the step municipality or structure or city or dorp. We have within Middelburg a stepchild, and that's Midros. And we should think in terms of for the past 25 years, how has Midros basically been in decay? For the past 4 years, you have received good audits though, but Midros still has suffered. I have been away for 5 months from Middelburg and Midros. On my return, 5 months ago, our roads were in a state. The morning as I entered Midros, the roads were terrible. Now, if I compare 5 months and I compare 4 years, then I'm still very concerned that your audit that you received was not that good pertaining to Midros. Because a good audit and still having a stepchild is a concern. We should think about Midros more now than ever. Midros needs to become priority number 1 within Middelburg. We cannot continue like this. We cannot have audits that's good, but Midros suffers. There are votes that has gone to you to keep you in power, but Midros suffers. So if we cannot, as of today, and I would like this house to note it, I would like this house to make it a point of priority that Midros, as of the 7th of April, up until the election, up until the next 5 years, up until the next 10 years, up until the next 25 years, should be now the basic number 1 principle and priority. Otherwise, we will not be able to sit here in these beautiful structures, beautiful meetings, in a place like that for the past. I've matriculated 1992. The place is exactly the same. Here and there a tar road which is in decay anyway. And that is very much a concern. As a community, as a minister who has to service our people every day, I'm concerned that Middelburg and Midros is suffering like that. With regards to SANRAL, I would like to have a bit more clarity with regards to, is it only national roads that you are covering? Are you only covering the roads out there that is joining the various towns, not inside? If that's the case, that's fine. Then I understand, and I actually takes the understanding that the municipality is responsible for our roads inside. And there are various other concerns which I think all other members of the community of Midros will be highlighting here. That's my point.
Thank you very much. Noted. May I then put everyone at ease? The recording that I'm making here everybody is free to speak in a language in which you are comfortable with. The responsibility that I carry is to make a summary on issues that are raised. With that process follows the outline on all the issues that are raised. I'm not alone taking or making summary. Those who have got responsibility to respond are also doing the same thing. So feel at ease to speak in a language that you're comfortable with. We are noting. Thank you.
I understand, MC.
Thank you.
The only thing I would really like to highlight is somebody else that might be in a different language, not understanding another language, could ask the same question. Then we could have avoided that such same repeat of questioning.
No, we agree. We agree. Thank you.
Thank you, Chair. Good day, everyone. I do not have a lot of questions, but first I would like to go to SANRAL. When you talk about competitive participation, guys, unfortunately, you can't come today and say we must be competitive with other towns, whereas our people are chased away from other towns. They can't compete in those projects. Not today. We already suffer here in Middelburg. There's no jobs. There's gross unemployment here. People are suffering. We are getting poorer by the day. So there won't be any competitive participation from people from outside. I don't think it will be allowed. Unfortunately, SANRAL, I'm sorry. That one will not happen. Secondly, what I would appreciate from SANRAL, there's this road maintenance around Middelburg. I see again there on the board, it says from Middelburg to Nanaga, from Middelburg to Indwe, from wherever. But we are never consulted when these road maintenance are happening around us. We only see a new bakkie or a contractor passing by and working along our roads. We don't know about them. We want local participation. They must come and engage us, because those roads, all these projects are adjacent to Middelburg. Now I can see there's a lot of money involved. Please consider Middelburg. Consider Middelburg SMMEs, because I'm sure we are equipped, we are capable of doing this kind of work. There are people who have worked for these road maintenance contractors outside who are sitting also now at home. They can do this kind of work with these SMMEs that is here. Then I will go to IYM. The resealing of IYM roads in Middelburg. The phase 1 road, I saw there it says 8 million. I'm not sure whether it's only for phase 1. If it's for phase 1, then there's some dodgy things happening which is not transparent and given to SMMEs and the community as to how much the project was exactly. That one I would like the council to give clearance on whether it was only for phase 1 or for all 3 phases that's going to happen over the 3 years. Thank you.
Thank you.
Tony Para, Middelburg Community Movement. I am sorry for the fact that the MEC is not here, but hopefully this is going to go to him also. SANRAL, firstly, I thank you for being here. I also thank the MEC for giving these projects, but yeah, we have a big problem. I have to echo. I didn't want to echo because it was mine. Madros. You see, if you go into Kwanonzame, there's a nice road that takes you down. You go into Lusaka, there's a nice road taking you down. You go into Madros, you must jump. You must jump. So I want SANRAL as their plowback to take Rivierweg. Take Rivierweg as you enter Middelburg, Bedros, and fix Rivierweg, because it needs fixing. In Rivierweg, you have to jump with a car that cannot jump, and it starts just behind the railway. So that is going to create jobs. Then Madros, public works. This is for public works. This must go to the MEC. Madros needs to be paved. Madros is the second oldest township in Middelburg, and I think it's older than most of the other townships in the Inxuba Yethemba Municipality. But Madros looks like it looks at the moment. It's bad. So, to create jobs, let's fix the roads, the streets in Madros. This is for public works. The other one is the way bridge, public works also. We cannot take away the way bridge, because the way bridge was supposed to be also talked about here. We needed to hear about the way bridge in this meeting also, because it's also going to create jobs. It was a project that was for Middelburg. We need that way bridge. That one must also go to public works. I must comment also the council. You cannot, it's not everything, it's not doom and gloom. For what you did in the past years, we want to thank you. But I am staying in Madros, and I am crying. I am saying Madros is the last township in Krizani, the last one. It may be Ward 7, but it's the last township in Krizani. It's the least serviced. I don't know what's happening there, but it's the least serviced, and we need to go and fix Madros. Public Works, SANRAL, your social plowback. Rivierweg, please. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Goeiemorgen allemaal. Ik zal net graag wil weten, ik heb de vraag wat ik wil vragen. Ik ga nu niet kan staan, maar ik zal zitten. Ik heb de vraag wat ik wil vragen, graag aan SANRAL. Ik zie niet dat de klomp projecten wat hulle loods rondom Middelburg. Maar stil in Middelburg, ons is jobless. Hulle loods 'n klomp projekte. Nou my vraag wat ek wil graag aan hulle vra. Hoekom loods hulle hy projekte 1-1-1-1? Aan die einde van die dag gaan ons aan nou mense werk gee wat al reeds werk voorheen gekry het, as wat hulle al hulle projekte op een slag loods, en dan gee ons vir meer as genoeg mense werk in Middelburg. Hoekom 1-1-1-1? Ek meen ons is baie honger, ons is jobloos hier in Middelburg, en nou loods hulle om 1-1. Hy projek is afgehandel, dan kom maar weer 'n nuwe, en jy repeat jy hier elke keer dieselfde mense, want die mense het skills. Hoekom jy alles op een slag loodsie? Dankie.
Thank you.
Nkosi Speaker, Program Director, kusodolophu nganganinzi bazayo, mandizazise ndingumagorha igama, nguphakade ifani, ndingumfundisi, ndingusihlalo sodolophu weNxuba Yethemba Contractors Forum ndibuyele, ndingusihlalo weKrisani District Contractors Forum Councillor Mbotshane, ndingu-organizer ka-African Chamber of Business u-ACOB. Ndithi mandivele kwakhona namhlanje njengoba bendivelile izolo. Ndibulela sodolophu nesiphathele uCouncillor Mbotshane. Councillor Mbotshane, nanku umbuzo noba ubungekho ke kwiluhlu ndiyakufaka nkokheli yam. Bekuke kwakho iproject eninayo ye maintenance kwi road farms. ndiqinisekile ke yaphela kodwa ke kwakukho ithemba elalisithi njengoba sikulo masipala weNxuba Yethemba la project izawuye imani iqhubekeka. Ndicela ubuza uba imindawo ningoku siyacela singabasomashishini abakhasayo mayibuye la project ngoba ndicinga uba ingake isincedise kakhulu. Ndiyayiqonda uba yayigciniswe kuni nguPublic Works, khanisondeze kuthi kwakhona sizokwazi ukubhenefitha. Ningenzi ke laa nto eyenzekile kule gempheleyo nasilandela uMidma from eDurban, ningasiphatheli yena this time around. Sikhona singaba sizawukwazi ukuthi singene ke siyisebenze lamafama. Yayintle kakhulu ibudget enaninayo. Enkosi ndigqithile kuloo ndawo. Kwakhona Councillor Mbotshane ngo-2018 ndicinga uba wawukunye noBell phaya eKrisane uba yayingeyo Enoch Mgijima. uBell eze nento yokukhulisa thina bonokontraka that une plans that can give to the contractors. Ndicinga uba uyayisebenza ukhona utata wakwa SANRAL. Uyayisebenza loo nto kunye noSANRAL. Mhlekazi wam uphathe siyakuphathisa lo mphako. Khanitsho kula development officer yenu isiphathele lo mcimbi. Siyafuna nathi uba neza plant. uBell uyatsho ukuthi ndinqwenela ukuzisa iplant zam kuni bantu abasakhulayo. Khasincedise tata uMbotshane, ndiyakhumbula kakhulu inkokheli yam wawukho kulaa mcimbi. Masibuye size apha kuwe tata uSANRAL. Ndikujongile uneproject ezintathu ezinhle phaya ezikulo mmandla weNxuba Yethemba endicinga into yokubana zingake zisincedise kakhulu. Kodwa ixhala lam likweza RRM zine uzivezileyo. Problem really, I am with the comrade that was talking about the RRM on that side. We see these RRMs, we see uRainbow, usoli esuka ngapha eKapa, azoyithatha yonke i-Eastern Cape le nge-RRMs. At least we can do the RRMs. Please, Mhlekazi, come to us with the RRMs. And the SANRAL make RRMs meant for us, Tina local SMMEs, so that we can grow. Please, siyayicela nkokheli yam, sinikeni those RRMs, zinhle zi4. So dolophi singawuphunguli lo mcimbi. Abasomashishini bakho bangake babe bahle zi4 eza RRMs zinemali ezinhle qithithi. Noko ke singake sibe ngabantu nathi. Siyayicela nkokheli yam noko ukuthenga ezamachini zocheba nemitshayelo yokuchayela xa zitshayisene ezimoto ayonto noko ingake leyo ibulala umuntu. Siyacela nkokheli yam masike zize eza RRMs zisondele kuthi. Kulelishwa ke tatam that ubufumene lanto eCradock. Inyaniso yemsulwa into kokubana mhlawumbi Councillor Mbotshane xolo tata. Oceba inyanisile laa nto ibithethwa ngulaa mntu phaya eCradock kanye oceba phaya eTakastad kulaa masipala we-Enoch Mgijima babemi ngaphambili nonokontraka baphaya besithi oonokontraka bengengobalapha mabahambe. Iyabonzakalisa ke ngoku bonke abanye oonokontraka abasuka kwezinye iindawo besithi baya kwibhizinesi. Siyayicela ke nathi nisincedise kuloo ndawo. Noko ke makuke kuqale kuprioritizwe aba bantu balapha locally bake nabo bakhule kakhulu babheke phambili. Mandibuye ndize kwiNxuba Yethemba umasipala lo wethu. Siyabulela ngeproject sodolophi kule minyaka emihlanu enithe nasiphathela zona. Ziliqela kakhulu xa ndijongile apha zilithoba esizawuthi ngoku zigqibile. I-success ikhona in terms of the completion of the projects. But there is a very sad story in terms of growth in this business. In these soldiers of economy, there is no growth. We are still at level 1 in 9 projects that are in completion. But none of us had grown from level grade 1 to grade 2, grade 2 to grade 3. Siyayicela lonto ike noko iqwalaselwe kakhulu. Noba izile la grade iphezulu isuka ngaphandle, noko makuqinisekiswe sincedisane nsodolophu into kubana at least bakhona abaya kwenye igrade. Ndiyaqonda ke sodolophu into bana mhlambi nathi nyani ke silambe kakhulu. Siye sifuna ufaka onokontraka abaninzi kwiproject eyi-1. But ndingake ndiyitsho into ethi sodolophu. Kulena ye-wrestling kwezi dolophi zombini le ingu 95%, we have tried by all means that we minimize the number of subcontractors esizifakayo, but still, hey, kunzima sodolophi kakhulu. And the worst part of it, eyona ndawo bekumele ba sikhula kuyo kulapha ekhaya. Kulapha ekhaya apho sonzakala khona kakhulu. Nangaphezu kwapha ngaphandle. Uyawufumanisa into bana grades that are higher than U2 bazifumene outside than local. Please siyacela maske sincediseke. Kubuhlungu usodolophu nesigqeba sakho. Le company ikhoyo kule wrestling. We had an agreement phaya eCradock nge material abazayisebenzisa. In fact, we didn't want some other packages because we knew ukuthi ezo packages azizusincedisa. But ngelishwa sazinikwa nyani ke azisincedisanga. But we had an agreement in terms of the material abazayiprocura for ukusetyenziswa phaya. But when it comes to umsebenzi, the money of that material, it's far higher than the one that we were told about. So ufumanisa into bana sawugqiba utyikitya phansi kubakho utshintsho olukhoyo. Isenzakalisa loo nto leyo. Ndidla amafutha.
Nkosi kakhulu mfundisi.
Mandibulise nam ku executive mayor waseNxuba Yethemba ukansila zonke. Ndibulise i-executive yaseNxuba Yethemba, u-chief whip no speaker. Ndibulise ku councillor Mbotshane okwangumfundisi njengathi uyabaleka xa kuthetha umfundisi. Ndibulise i-councillors zonke abefundisi. Ndibulise i-management ngokubanzi from all departments. Ndibulise as a guest of honor ebethethe ngazo umama uMzinzi. Ngelihle igama lenkosi Yesu Kristu, amen. Ndizawutya kweli lasekhaya ke meya. Kuyawutolika ke umhlali ngaphambili. Kodwa mandiqale ngokuthi kuhle ukuncoma izinto ezinhle ezenzekayo. Sike sichithe ixesha apha ekuncomeni. Ndiqale kakuhle ke meya xa uthi usicaphulela kwincwadi endicinga into yoba ubufunda kuyo wena yaseNxuba Yethemba. Kaloku umntu xa yengena uba nencwadi yakhe azenzela yona othi telling our good story. Ndicinga uba it's the right time to do that. Masibulele kule good story ukufumanisa into yokokuba SANRAL has injected a capital injection of up to 1 billion zibalela mna apha kwezi projects zichaphazela Inxuba Yethemba. Athi ke umfundisi uphakade ezinkulu ezintathu. Crisani District Municipality has injected a capital injection ye 1 million. Ayonto incinci leyo. Yonke lento yenzelwa ukugxotha ikati eziko kuthi thina abahlali balapha abazi beneficiaries in this municipality. Ndicinga into abahlali besifanele basiyiqhwabela izandla lonto. Because i-1.1 billion is not a little amount eno injectwa into a poor municipality like our municipality. Mandibulele sodolophu. Okwesibini, olukukunyamezela kungaka, umbutho olawulayo uthetha nge-triple ills, poverty, inequality, ne-unemployment. Le 1.1 billion izokwenza lonto, ukuzama ukususa ezi zinto zingalawuli. Manditsho Councillor Mbotshane uba ndingufatyela uMalibongo igama, ndikhona phaa kula PLC iku R56 between Middelburg and Molteno kula project. Utsho kakuhle futhi ke umhlekazi xa ebechaza i-14-point plan apha wathi bona phaa bagqibile uba uSANRAL uzaba nguchairperson aphathe zonke. USANRAL ke wasithi wasichitha into yoba iMetele ibe nekona yayo, iStainsburg ibe nekona yayo, iMolteno ibe nekona yayo, kubekho sihlalwana. Ndingusihlalwana ke mna ke wale kona yaseMetele. Siyayibulela kakhulu lonto. But one thing we must remember that must stay in our minds, Councillor Mbotshane, is that in this 350 million ye special maintenance between Middelburg and Molteno, in Middelburg is only going to benefit with 16 kilometers of all that road. And the 16 kilometers is a drop in an ocean. That is why I am echoing what Unansika Ngapaya was saying. We need more because balambile abantu balapha. Ngehle mhlambe ezindlebeni zabantu xa besiva u350 million sodolophu.
Xolo nje kancinci mfundisi. Inkosi. Ngaqhuba mfundisi.
Thank you very much. Ngehle abantu sodolophu xa besiva kuthethwa nge350 million yaka R56 ezingqondweni zabo bacinge fanele le 350 million izawujikeleza apha kuthi, kanti ngehle thina lethi cephe kula mali lincinci kakhulu because 16 kilometers now unoyicinga i-distance between Middelburg and Stainsburg is 86 kilometers. From Molteno, from Stainsburg to Molteno, it's about 74 kilometers. Uno understand that 150 or 160 kilometers, 16 kilometers is a drop in an ocean. So we must not pretend ukuthi kule 1 billion dithetha ngayo ikati za kumka yeziko. Izawugxotheka nje kancinci. Mandize ke ku iPad sodolophu lo walapha ekhaya ukuzama ukucebisana nabo ukuthi singavuya thina besike sayenza ke i-invitation. Ndiyabona ke basaxakekile abakafumana ithuba loba basondele, thina besibasondezile ukuthi mabake badibane nathi msinyane, ngoba la 14-point plan ithetha phaya nge-coordination of i-lists for employment. Abantu bangakulinga bacinge fanele kukho i-list ezakwenziwa kwaTata uFatyela okanye endlini katata uFuzani okanye kwatata uPhakade, the LED department within iPad in Inxuba Yethemba are those people that are going to coordinate those lists. Because abantu bayabhalisa ko-councillor, ko-ward councillor, and we've got 3 wards in Middelburg. Ward 7, phansi ko-councillor Semi, Ward 8, phansi ko-councillor Msali, Ward 9, phansi ko-councillor Bene. We don't want people to go out bethukana no councillor kunye nathi, because thina we will only receive the lists from the LED section, from that department when they are coordinated. And thina ezo list sizawuya nazo, because each of the 14-point plan asenze list thina, we coordinate list CPLC, and we agree on the list ukuthi uPLO, because nathi list azizo zethu, we're going to hand them over to the PLO so that when employment is happening sikwazi ukuyimonitorisha. So we are asking you, Sodolophu, khawukuthethe ke nabo, because abakaziphi ithuba lozawuthetha nathi, besicinga thina sifuna ukubacenga isaqala le project ukuthi bazama ukuyazi ba what is expected from them. So khasicengele bona ke inambara zethu zipha kubo, bawuthi xa benethuba basikrwece. Ayika progress as much as, or let me before I go to that one, Sodolophu, maybe also to say, iPad must understand ukuthi jealously on behalf of Inxuba Yethemba Municipality, it is their role to jealously guard that as projects ifana nale sithetha ngayo ka R56 and other projects, benefit, that is the social benefit that and the impact that must happen to the community, it's their role, it's their terrain to guard that. Thina siphaya as eyes and ears of the community, but bona they are going to mark impact because they are working for the municipality. So we need that partnership. Siyacela, siyayiphimisa le partnership ukuthi mayenzeke, singachaselani, because ukuchaselana kwethu might injure this whole thing. Ndivuyela ke nalo umkhulu Sodolophu sefikile. Sincediseni, because le kontraka noba singathetha no SANRAL apha, uSANRAL yena uzawumamela ngendlebe ezinomkhinqi because yeyakhe ikontraka. Le kontraka ingutawupili ine challenges bantu bakuthi iyagxekwa kwindawo esebenza kuzo ngoku. Thina ke kuthi iyafika isanqonqoza eminyango, kodwa seyiqalile ukwenza ingxaki. Siyacela into ba mabazama ukuyinyumbaza noko ukuba mayizama ukutshintsha ezazinto zikhalazelwa next door zingazokwenzeka nakuthi apha sizokwazi nathi ukungqina into ba ayilunganga le contract. And it's already happening, SANRAL. I think uzoleka phaya, the first point she raised ukuthi uSANRAL makazame into ba i-contract ibhatale is stipends. You can't come to a meeting of this nature uzo intimate on those issues, because those are issues zasekhaya. That contractor must do what is appointed to do in this project ka R56. We can't come here and complain. This is not the office or the forum for complaining, but we are just saying to SANRAL, please lift up role yenu yokumonitorisha the contractors that you appoint for the projects zenu, because umsebenzi omhle ka government umoshwa zi contractors, and the contractors are doing things as a horrible ebantwini. Again, for iPad wethu, thina as PLC members, we have already forwarded inantsika ilizwi lethu to the company engutawupili ukuthi our expectation yeyokokuba abantu base Stainsburg must benefit njengoba utawupili ephaya kusithiwa i-main offices in Stainsburg. It can't happen as a general norm ukuthi when things come to our area they go to the already advantaged people. It can't happen nathi si accept as a norm. Ngoku already phaya i-company illocated in a bed and breakfast of a person who has already been benefiting. And we've got good and beautiful breakfast, bed and breakfast, siyile sayozibona nathi eStainsburg, ezibhetele that are owned by those people ekuthiwa phaya kwi-14-point plan, the aim is to equip and uplift black economic development. We can't write it nje phaya kwizilides. We must practically implement it so that people can feel the benefits of their government. It comes back to iPad again and LED to say to them they must jealously guard those things. We said, ke SANRAL, if I may come directly to SANRAL, we said to Utaupili, it must not be on paper, it must be realistic. Into yokokuba, you can come with as a company, as a packages. You can come with your packages. We don't have a problem with them. But for a small project like this, 16 kilometers, you come with a package level 4, knowing fully well that locally we don't have contractors at that level. Yet lemali, 350 million, maybe it's only 100 or even less than 100 million that is going to benefit the people in Inxuba Yethemba. And yet you pick up one project, you make a level 4. We are saying, it's fine, do it, because when you understand why you're doing it, but unbundle that package so that small companies, small SMMEs can come together under that particular level 4 that we are bringing. One, to make sure that they benefit. Two, to make sure that there's transfer of skill. By the time SANRAL simka up, there must be a company that is at level 4. So by unbundling that package, you are giving companies here a leverage to also enhance their standards as well. So it's a request, and that request kesotolopu is iPad engekho involved. That's why besim invited now to come to an audience with us. Let us sit together, let's reason together, so that by the time we confront these issues in a PLC meeting, we've got your backing as well. Lastly, it's an open invitation again, which I also think they will take and they will make use of that. We are also inviting them because Stainsberg sona basibonisile clearly intoba they want to run with the project. iPad LED was a Stainsberg uhlala full time phaya as an ex officio member in the PLC. Councillors zase Stainsberg zihlala full time as ex officio and observers in the PLC, and our municipality has never been represented at that level. So siyacela ke into bangaski prioritize le project because now we want power and we want a muscle. Sizokwazi basingabantu basenxuba Yethemba, our voice esiyibeka phaya ibe ne substance, because somebody from LED will be able to tell me ukuthi no, this what is said here should have been put better in this way. Then we are able to communicate as those that are elected. Eloholo ke ngenye imini lawuba lingqina eloholo, because yabona eloholo eli lawuba lingqina sonyulwa apha thina emini kugcwele kweloholo ngabantu. Masiyikhumbule loo nto sihlalo into yoba ezinto zenzeka apha qha sisike sihlale emakhaya xa sibizelwe apha sithi ke ngoku xa kuthethwa apha ngezinto ibe ngathi yinto entsha. Ndoyika into yoba ke siphuma apha thina kucingelwe into yoba siyi-LED eyonyuliweyo, no, si-electiwe kwelo holo, same hall here, kule nyanga ingaphi kwaliphelileyo okanye kule nyanga iphelileyo. Enkosi sihlalo.
Siyabulela mfundisi, Nkosi kakhulu. Next.
Good afternoon, a lot being said. Good afternoon, the honorables, all delegates present here, community. Good afternoon. Mine is basically, I just want to enlighten SANRAL. Hence, gentlemen mentioned over there, certain developments. There's a few really important people that we being left out, that not being mentioned throughout this whole process, which is the youth development and disabled people. They're being disgranted within this. Even coming from the PLC committee over there, there's no youth representative within that structure. We need to find the problem. Looking, just to having a view of this town hall now, There are very little youth present over here. It's not because they cannot be here. It's because they already have that mentality. It's all right, we're not important, we're not involved anyway. If we check on the scale of the contractors, which when we call to enterprise development, which I'll kindly ask you guys to look into, enterprise development, the youth guys, they're all on level 1 with most probably one of these older guys in the construction industry. Where will they get the experience to be able to pave a way forward for them if they not give that much exposure? I know what's going to happen over here. They're going to say, okay, we're going to go to Tatu Banban because he usually handled that project over here. He has that experience. But the young one, where will he get the experience if he doesn't get the exposure? Let's be fair in all regards, guys. It goes to skills development also. Let's look after these kids. So if we're going to go out over here, we're going to say, Lomdana, he does not want to implement nothing in life. He's nothing. The kid feels like that because there's nothing coming towards him. There's nothing being yes, on that. Hence, government already limited the youth to that extent of, say, from 18 to 35. I'm looking after those guys. After 35, you're up on your own. You only get the government pension when you reach 60 years. So which, if my calculations are correct, he's going to be 24 years hustling, struggling, become drug addict. Each and every this weekend, I'm going to bury another young man from my community. Hence, we're always doing it. Addicted to drugs, where the extent that they're losing their lives. But hence, we do not have find a problem. I can hear all stakeholders speaking over here. The money's too little. But what about your kids? COVID alerted us in all sense that the most fragile people are the older people because you guys are suffering from chronic diseases. The young people are actually the real future of tomorrow because it so happens tomorrow, next week, you might not be here. But hence, you disregard the future. Let's not disregard the future, let's respect the future because the future is the hand that carries us. Those are the hands that are going to carry your coffin next week. Not speaking bad luck, but it's reality. If we go back again, I really appreciate what you're trying to do, Mayor, trying to cater for individual townships over here. But hence, I need to go back to the emphasis of the gentleman. We way past the stage of racial discrimination or the ideology of apartheid. We need to progress and move on. But if we're constantly being reminded by the situations quite visible to us, then we cannot blame ourselves for sometimes retaliating against our government now. We need to check that. We need to make sure that we do not leave loopholes for people to always attack us. And then we're feeling like people are always against us. Because I think most of the time when we enter these places and we becoming just enlightening people, it seems like we're becoming harmful or love to attack people. But hence, service delivery lacks. After 2 years, SANRAL is going to be gone. What's going to happen? It's back to square one. We need to ask SANRAL, what can you implement that's going to go a longer term than this 2 years of these projects? Because most of them are almost done. We need to look after that. I have a young man on my phone constantly. He's a qualified engineer, asking for opportunity. You know when a young man is a qualified engineer goes to the extent of asking, even if I can take a shovel and dig with you guys. We spent 4 years and plus. You have to have a problem, ma'am. Within your municipality, having an engineer, it's actually a blessing having those guys qualified over here. They were supposed to be among the municipal panel now, seeing the problems, because those guys can analyze those bridges, those roads that needs attention. They can get the weighbridge system in action because they can see it's highly harmful for those trucks to pass over here. Those are the guys that can analyze that. But if they're being bypassed, and always the older people being entertained, this guy come from a certain department. I usually call them fly-by-nights, because the last we saw him, he was the Department of, let's say, for example's sake, he was in health. This next week, he's in Department of Agriculture. When you ask him, what, are you now in agriculture? He tells you, I got tired of that. The young man just wants the opportunity to get hired to provide and become a respectful and morally right citizen. Let's not entertain that. Let's look after our youth so that our youth can look after us.
And that will alleviate a lot of problems. Please, sir, youth enterprise development, skills development, youth job opportunity, please, sustainability of these jobs, please, look after the disabled people. Don't let them feel like whatever. We are born a crime, we are born a burden. Let them see their opportunity. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Tata. Goes. The last one is up there.
Nkosi Tata ohlele ngaphambili manje sibulisele kumamsodolophu ndizibulisele kwiqiza lakhe ndizibulisele kubahlali bonke abalapha endlini igama ngumzolisi mangiqale eqala pha ku SANRAL SANRAL ndifuna ukuqonda into bangaba nenza njani uqinisekisa into bangaba ikontraka eniyiqeshileyo ibhatala ngokwendlela funeka ibhatale ngalo ngokwe government gazette ngoba kunento ethi icontract izawubhatala 22 rand endaweni nokuba funeka ibhatale 39 rand 80 eke funeka ibhatale 39 rand 82 cents ndiphinde ndize kuwe kwakhona SANRAL kunekontraka esoloko ndayibona isebenza kule ndlela isuka apha ibheke eCradock okanye le ndlela isuka eRhafu ichebayo ecani kwendlela ndifuna ukubuza kuni ingabe icontract yanikwa yona icontract naye lifetime ayiphele yayi contract na kwenzele nabanye abantu okanye onokontraka abancinci baxhamle pha ngoba la contract oko ndandiyibone isebenza pha kula ndawo Enkosi ndifuna uza apha ke kumasipalathi lo wethu ndive kuthethwa apha nge900,000 feedlot pha ngasebuhlanti engekazi igqitywe namhlanje ndifuna ukubuza into bangaba kumasipalathi akasicacisele yimali nina imali seyisebenzile kula project ngoba ngokomgangatho wayo ayinaze bekali isebenzile 900,000 ngokomgangatho wayo ndandile nto ibona nami ayikagqitywa inonyaka kungasasetyenzwa kuyo so sifuna uqonda kanye mina ndifuna uqonda ba yimalini imali seyichithiwe ukusebenza phana iyintoni unobangela wento bangabe icontract mayingaqhubekeki Enkosi
Siyabulela Tata Nkosi mandibulise ku executive mayor we district ndibulise kuyo uCouncillor Umbotshani kwesi sigaba we are going to allow responses on matters that were raised, in particular those that needs responses for both SANRAL as well as Inxuba Yethemba presentations. I want to believe that in terms of what has been presented here, both in terms of commentary and questions, more was of specific issues on questions. From the first speaker, if I may make a quick summary, I should think SANRAL, you have noted everything. You captured everybody. Okay, maybe let me not do this. For consideration of time. Yeah, for consideration of time. But I think, Chief, we have been covered, Rev, in terms of what I've indicated, because I could note that even though there were language barrier, but nobody, fortunately, could speak something that was actually said before. We were just fortunate on that, but I would have just reflected on that. Thank you very much. Can you come, but Sandra?
Program Director, allow me to greet the Executive Mayor of the district who joined us a little bit later. Earlier on, we made a presentation, and my name is Siyavuya Mbete. I am speaking on behalf of Welekazi Ndika, who is the stakeholder coordinator for the southern region. We have captured some of the questions, and we believe that all of them are relevant questions that must be answered. And I also strongly feel, Executive Mayor, that maybe a smaller engagement is needed, specifically to meet with especially the contractors in particular, so that some of the grievances that they have may be addressed, and individually so. But also looking at SANRAL bringing some of the offices. There's an office of transformation which deals directly with the SMMEs and ensuring that the SANRAL projects are actually accessible, and also the local communities are able to participate. The first question was about the 14-point plan to be introduced into projects. Whenever there's a project that SANRAL introduces in a local municipality, the first partner, the local partner we go into is the local municipality. We work very closely, the office of the mayor, the LED office, and community services as well. And it is within SANRAL's policy that we cannot come to any local municipality and start introducing the project to the community without going through the municipality. And when that is done, all the SANRAL policies are introduced, including 14-point plan. And the setup of the PLC, it is guided by the office of the LED, where we get all the stakeholders that participate in the PLC. It is not something that SANRAL can come and now appoint their favorite people or whoever. It has to go through via the office of the LED. So now, which means that anything that the PLC is doing is guided by the SANRAL policies, and the 14-point plan is introduced. And in a situation whereby there are issues, there are areas where you find that the 14-point plan is not introduced, all the PLC members, they have a right to demand that they are installed and also introduced into all the processes of SANRAL, because you can now not become a committee member and a PLC member, and yet you do not know how SANRAL operates. Secondly, on the issues of stipend, it is also a serious matter that if the PLC members are not paid that stipend, that is something that must be taken up with SANRAL, because the contractor that calls meetings and every time when the PLC sits, that stipend must be paid, because people, they use their money, people, they travel, people, they sit long hours. It's not even money that you can make a living out of it, but it is the misbehavior of a contractor or the consultant that will actually will paint the image of SANRAL wrongly. But those are the things that you now start engaging SANRAL with, that unfortunately this has been going on for so long and there has not been any response from the side of the contractor or the consultant. Now, the question again came on the national roads. Okay, the question, it was more of which SANRAL roads that we are responsible. As a national entity, we are dealing with all the national roads, and obviously there are provincial routes, and then there are routes which are managed by the municipality. And sometimes, in some instances, in some of the community developmental projects, SANRAL is able, when requested by the municipality, they are able, if the municipality requested that SANRAL, we have this street that you would like us to assist us with in terms of building it, or whatever the case might be, depending on the needs of the municipality. Then, based on that, SANRAL will be involved in a municipal route based on the request, but that will also be on a community development project. It will not be a project that SANRAL will be continuing working on. We hand it over back to the municipality and it belongs to the municipality. So SANRAL deals with only the national routes. So I think that question sort of answers the question or suggestion that was made that SANRAL must assist in fixing some of the local routes. So you need to also understand and separate how SANRAL works and which are the routes that SANRAL can maintain. I want to just jump some of these comments that were made, just to skip into the partnership that Bell, that was mentioned. Bell and Caterpillar and your Barloworld, they are some of SANRAL MOU partners. That SANRAL, I know there are some of success stories that in other districts you find out that SANRAL, through the Office of the Transformation Officer, has gotten into MOU and partnership with these big plant companies, whereby they engage them to say, we have our SMMEs of this area, we have so much projects, they are worth so much. And I'd like us also to caution us, because these plant OEMs, they have their own mandate. At the end of the day, they are in a business of making money. Now, when they look at projects and they look at the number of years, automatically they want to check if will it be a sustainable business deal to actually bring this plant. So SANRAL, with that partnership, is negotiating with those OEMs to say, we have a number of projects coming into these following financial years. And should you finance these SMMEs, as SANRAL, we can be in a position to offer them contracts to work for so long. And now they don't just agree to that. Obviously, they have to go back to drawing back and do their own due diligences and interrogate if how will that process. But it is not something that does not happen. But you also need to look at things from their perspective, that if they are getting into a deal to finance or to provide the plant, will they be able to to sustain the relationship? Will there be contracts that will be coming in? So I think it is something that maybe the transformation officer can actually also come down and engage with the SMMEs on request, of course, from the SMMEs to be able to assist on how SANRAL can assist in bringing those MOU partners. And the issue of having one RRM company, which is Rainbow, and also Taupele, I'd like to marry the two so that we address them as one. You know, sometimes we have a right to interrogate why is one company benefiting, or why is one company always being, even though there are complaints that have been made. And sometimes when you do not know where to complain, and when you do not know where to voice out your concerns, because in reality, most of the contractors, SANRAL cannot deny that they do misbehave. They do falter in terms of the contractual obligations that they have with SANRAL. And we cannot run away from the fact that some of these companies, that they are predominantly white-owned companies, and at the end of the day, they mistreat the subcontractors, they mistreat our people, they don't follow all the rules and protocols that are set out by SANRAL. So SANRAL has made it easy that there's a toll-free, which is there on the screen, that you can always report such. And also the office of the regional manager is always open for letters, to write a complaint. You can write to the CEO, you can write up to the Minister of Transport. Because at the end of the day, we need to understand how does one company from all the time, I will make an example, one company in other projects is always seen coming with the main contractor. And we had questioned, why is this company everywhere it's going? This subcontractor seemingly is always winning the tender. And we had discovered that these companies are in bed from far, and no matter what processes you put in place, seemingly this company has already, would even go to site and before the tender is advertised, before the tender is awarded. So this is the reality that some of these contractors, in as much as you are saying there are processes in place, they do do their own things and move away to what they are expected to do. I think the issue of Taupele and the issue of Rainbow, which our companies are seen to be benefiting the most, it is something that maybe if we follow those processes, we can see them. Again, I would like to come back to one thing, that the PLC, the formation of the PLC, the politicians, executive mayor, if there is one PLC where there's a politician sitting in the PLC, it's not supposed to be like that, because the politicians, they are the ones who provide leadership and guidance when the PLC is fighting, when there is no leadership and direction within the PLC. Now, we run to politicians for guidance and assistance. So the SANRAL 14-point plan does not allow for ward councillors, your mayors, and the only people that are allowed are the officials. And each and every municipality, every project that we have, we always have a representative from the LED. We always have a representative from the community services and also the infrastructure department. So there is no way that we can encourage that politicians, they sit in PLCs so that they can, because end of the day, they need to provide an oversight into the project. I think some of the things that were raised were just comments, and I had indicated that in the PLC, the groups that are actually outside SANRAL, you have your military veterans, you have youth, you have people with disability, you have you have your business forum, you have your transport sector, and also say, we don't want to say a taxi industry or the bus industry. We want a representation from the transport sector. So we make sure that we have all the groups that are your farmers, and you have your representative from the municipality. We have representative for women that sit into the PLC. I think the opportunity is always there for all the different groups of the society. It's just that maybe in some of the projects, the failure might be on officials in terms of ensuring that it is communicated well. And some of the issues that people have raised, issues of skills transfer and also the issues of payment, it's things that maybe at a project level, you invite an official, just like as we are having these meetings, as these engagements, you realize that this particular problem, it is ideally addressing the particular project. So now, we cannot now in this house have the solutions for each project, but ideally is to say, Butsia, thank you for the presentation, but now how do we go forward? Because we have so many number of problems with this particular project. How do we address them? Because end of the day, not only me that can solve these problems, there are other offices within SANRAL to assist each particular project. So you need to make a linkage with those. And also, there is no contractor that can have a permanent contract with SANRAL. So I would like to make that clear, that and sometimes it is important that we see up and coming contractors benefiting, and I think maybe it is high time that the SMMEs from the area, Tatumfundis, that we have a certain plan, especially with the transformation officer. Unfortunately, you could not join us here. There are so many programs to empower the contractors, which people are not aware of, that they can change and elevate the levels of grading in terms of the contractor beneficiation. So with those words, I would like to pause there so that, kodwa ke, it does not mean if I have not answered some of your questions, unganditsala nangomkhona ebhatyi undikrweca ecaleni ukuba we take your questions. Some of them that were not answered here, we are going to leave our email addresses and our contact numbers so that we further engage each other. I think the engagement does not end here only. Even outside this setup that we are having today, we are continuing opening our doors to say, let us engage one another. Let us come in. Let us not come in when there are problems only. Let us come in and identify needs of this area based on the projects that are coming, based on the projects that are currently happening. There's so many projects that are coming with so many trainings and opportunities that are not properly communicated to the people. Hence, you find the confusion. So, Program Director, I think I will pause there and hand over to you. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much, Tata. Can I request? Oh. Thanks, Lord. May I request then that on the basis of what you have landed on, SANRAL that please let's make sure that we communicate with them, especially on some of the areas that may have not been. I think there isn't much because most speaks to one another as they were reflecting in terms of the responses. MM?
Program Director, I'm very short. Greetings to the Executive Mayor of Krisani, Ngangani Nzibazai. Colleagues, thank you very much for the questions. And what I observed in all those 10 questions, those are critiques, but very constructive. Ndiyavuya ke mfundisi unoyotsho phaa kozole kabhani ukuthi the question ebenizibuza kufana nomntana osisidodo benesinhlanhlatha amadolo. We don't take them personal. Thank you very much. I won't comment in questions speaker number 1 because it will comment to SANRAL. Speaker number 2, which was Upan, I think she spoke of the water treatment project, which is in the Banglinga Apa. Ayikabikho ready for bamayize kule forum, and all projects they are going to come to the community when we are ready to do so. There was also a question of a consultant that failed Lusaka Hall. Now we are using it with High Master. I think I will check that as management because we do not have that information. At present, the information that we have, the contractor that was there ceded to a new contract. Then speaker number 3 spoke of the conditions of road at Midros. I think even on that one, I don't want to dwell much on it because the information, the data that we are having at Inxuba Yethemba, all wards are being put on plans in terms of the projects as per the MIC, and if we are speaking of the maintenance plan, Midros is also included in the maintenance plan. The resealing, the amount, some of the projects, when you see them at face value, you can price them. Ifana ubangaba xa uthengisa inyama ujonga leya ingathi nenqathwini ke price yayo ungabeki kwisikali, but the price that is there, the amount that is there for the resealing project is the amount that was appearing in the tender document. At present, we didn't change anything. The number 5, it was comment, and those comments are noted, and we are taking them in good spirit. Then number 6 spoke of the projects that coming one by one. Yes, they are coming one by one because the ones that are not here, we are not ready to bring them to the community. But all of them will come to the community. We are going to launch them and we are going to inform the community when we are ready to do so. The growth that was asked by Umfundisi Phakade, I think Umfundisi Phakade, yesterday we responded to that question. It's a collective effort. The structures, the business structures with the iPad should sit down to make sure that how do we develop the SMMEs that are there. There are a lot of processes that we're supposed to follow. You already mentioned the one of the number of SMEs that's supposed to be given a project when we've got a project. There are also other processes that's supposed to take place. The process is the issue of capacitating you as SMMEs, but that capacitation It's supposed to be the role of the iPad. As iPad, I think we have agreed when we're introducing the director to say one of our main duties now is to develop you, is to make you to grow. I think we are still committed on that. The comment from Umfundisi Fadela, Enkosi Mfundisi, really ubungaphosi matye ubusigibisela ngamalongwe, and I want to say to you now, the reason that at present iPad didn't meet with you, we were very busy, but we are very committed on meeting you and discuss the issues that you're supposed to handle. And also you have raised an issue of our appearance or our role or coordination in terms of the PLC. Even yesterday it was mentioned by Ms. Ndika. I think we are going to take that. The last comment, I think the speaker number 9 spoke of the youth and what we are doing about the youth. Basically, I think your speech was referring to the youth. There are programs that are there. You can go to our SDF. I think there are programs that speak to the youth. The employment, we are trying to employ the youth, but qualifying youth. But we are inviting you to visit our municipalities to have more discussions on programs that speak to the youth. The last comment was about the custom feed. Yes, I think it's also the last question when the issue of the value, we were given 900. It can seem to you as if that 900, there's nothing that you can say about it. But I think it was 900, but we are going to have phase 2 to make it sure that at least when you are looking at it in the near future, is the custom feed that you can feel proud of it. Thank you very much, Program Director.
Masiqhobe izandla torhwana. Masiqhobe izandla. Because the clapping of hands is a benefit of this process. May I request then that kuzo zonke in all the questions, comments that were raised, a reflection was made. But I think there is an important aspect that we need to quickly raise and advise upon. That a municipality will be undertaking a public participation process on the ITP and budget roadshows. May I then humbly request that from all the wards, in particular Ward 7, that members of Ward 7 must attend those ITP and budget roadshows, because the planning process of the municipality, as per the ward priorities, starts there. If we miss it there, we wouldn't get it anywhere else until the following year. I want to make that humble plea for all the wards that members that are here today, they attend to those because a decision that will have to be taken, planning towards forward for the future, will be dependent on the process that we're undertaking. That's very, very important. I want to assume that everything else has been covered. The MM is here. The MM is within the municipality. The directorates are here on all other matters that relates to the presentations of today. SANRAL has left. There are contact numbers. SANRAL is now and then visiting the projects. We shall then be in a position to continue the engagement and interactions. SANRAL is in partnership with Inxuba Yethemba Municipality. As and when there's a necessity, there are various offices that may assist the municipality on matters that needs urgent attention on the side of the municipality. Then SANRAL can be invited in such instances if those matters cannot be dealt with and be finalized at the level of the PLCs as per the presentations and confirmation by members of the PLCs that are part of this engagement. But I think all other matters are matters of continuation as we progress towards ensuring that we work together in terms of this development. I will then request, and in terms of the next part of the program, Executive Mayor, to come forward and introduce our honorable guest. Thanks.
Thank you, Program Director. It's so important out of the questions and the concerns that have been raised that masivale ngenote evakalayo. One, maybe we need to come closer to the issue of metros. And every time the tone is used, that would reflect Midrost as a stepchild, it disturbs me. And it will make the social cohesion of this community to be weakened. It cannot be correct. Because I was alluding here to projects that have been done, capital projects, of course, that have been done by the municipality in all wards of Inxuba Yethemba. And it is so unfortunate that Inxuba Yethemba is one of the small municipalities that doesn't have factories or firms where people are working. The collection rate in Fundis is very low. And municipalities are expected to use their own budget that they have collected from consumers. Now, the reason we can't implement all these projects at the same time is because we depend on capital grants. We are one municipality who depends on capital grants. If we were having that financial muscle from our communities, we'll be able to do our own things. Now, when you depend on capital grant, then you have to wait, because in the cake that is cut across by province, you are not the only municipality. Therefore, in that financial year, you will receive so much. Yes, we are not proud about the project of Gemsbokland. That project, at the time it was done, it was still under Ward 7, which now is stated as if we don't care about it. And we were out to say that project, that it has not been completed. And inside the municipality, we are taking processes forward, why it is not completed, how then it should be completed, as it is posing danger to the people of Midrost. That's one project we are not proud of. But if you look at the issue of roads of Inxuba Yethemba, you cannot attribute that to Midrost alone. All the roads in all the wards, they are in a bad state. Actually, they are collapsing. We did say that the heavy load trucks, but not only that, the maintenance that is not happening regularly on our roads is what then is hindering the roads. Hence, even on this project for this financial year, we decided that Midrost should be part amongst those on the high mask line. So it cannot be correct that Midrost will be indicated in this meeting as a stepchild. It can't be. We can't agree to that. But you are correct when you are saying there are access roads like Rivierweg, access roads like Kwanonzame Nombeu, access roads that we have like Michostal and in Lingelihle. But when we are dealing with the IDP priorities, you don't prioritize those roads. Remember, it is against the law. If we are going to do a road that is not on the priority list of the ward. Currently, we were doing priority projects in the wards. We're in Midrost. The priority in Midrost is the parks. Hence, we're saying when we go back to the draft IDP again towards, because I understand why it is parks. The meeting that we're doing priorities, it was hitting. It was a time of protest and everybody wanted to talk. It was difficult for the community of Metros to convince each other of their priority. Hence, in the council meeting of the 31st, we decided that in the additional funding that we have, let us focus registering the following projects, making sure that business plans are sent to MIC, Cekiwe Nombeu and the stormwater drainage of Joko, Rivierweg, Michosdal access road, and Lingelihle access road when you enter through the police station. It's us at a risk because after we have identified those, we have to come back to the community and lobby you that you must accept our proposal. So I want to beg communities who are coming back on IDP, make the correct priorities. What you would want to see in your ward, prioritize on that. It's important. It makes things easy for us. What was raised, Mamuma Kwabe, iPad director, here by the PSC with regards to SANRAL, it's very important. Boots, overall. When you are with iPad, you need to you would need to be there. What has been raised here, it needs an immediate meeting, urgently, so that ingamkiseli. But then yesterday we were promised, as much as we don't enter in the PSC meetings, but we were promised that with Xoliswa Tubana, we can have our political structure meeting where we let the official accounts to us. Asizokwazi uyenza ke londo iPad wethu engekasondeli abone challenges, and then he would bring those challenges to us. But it's also important what was raised by youth, that except the capital projects, let us focus also on social projects. Our young people really are dying of drugs. And it, as much as it's supposed to be their initiative for these projects to be suggested to a department for support, but sometimes we need to support them. Hence then, in the strategic planning session of Inxuba Yethemba, human settlement, Mama Kwabe, said they are promising 2 packages for support of SMMEs, youth SMMEs, and also women SMMEs. If we don't follow human settlement, iPad, we are going to lose those packages. So it's so important that what has been promised to us, we follow it, because asinayo thina imali. On the growth mfundisi uphakathi, I would request, since we are taking SDBIP to communities, we need to add Mamumzinzi, the KPI for growth development of SMMEs, to our directors, both iPad and technical services, so that each quarter sibuzba yeyiphe graduate leyo yaya kwenye level. If it's not their KPI, asizokwazi uzifumana impendulo. So iyawusincedisa that it should be a KPI. Taupele. Siyayazi ba SMMEs that seems to be problematic, ziya blacklistwa mfundisi. Iye kwelendoni itawupele. Inga blacklistwa. Maybe thina ke Inxuba Yethemba that we are stuck with Taupele. Let us have our paper trail, so that when the politicians are meeting SANRAL, we talk facts. Singathi kwezinye indawo kuthiwa wamosha. We need to have facts and know what then are we raising politically. But also what was raised by councillor, by the member of community, which says, your consultant that you were appointed was appointed in Lusaka Hall. Ndiyacela ilandelwe laa nto sifumane impendulo. Because if khange yenzeka kakuhle, why should then it be appointed again? We need to tease out those issues. Benifuna nje ugqitha apho, but on the maintenance, betshilo torho uSANRAL wathi, i-maintenance project zakhe. Now batshintshile, 50% will be done by local. Sayivuyela loo nto, sayiqhwabela. Andukuvanga ke siya uphinda uthetha kuloo nto kuba yeyona nto iyisonwabisayo. Ingasi kugxile kuyo, siqiniseke ukuba injalo. Ndicela ukwazisa u-executive mayor ozawunika i-keynote address, uCouncillor uGela, ongu-executive mayor we-district. He is from Chris Hani District Municipality, in the local municipality, born eMalahleni, phaya kula mhlaba wasendwe. He is also a chairperson of the political party, which is the ruling party, the ANC, in the region of Chris Hani. Besi embracewe nguye even yesterday in Cradock. And we really want to appreciate the presence yakhe kwakhona in the absence of MEC today. Sinikela kuwe executive mayor, ndicela simamkele.
Thank you so much, Executive Mayor Mama Uzonge. And can I just quickly greet the program director, Councillor Masawe, the troika of the municipality as led by the chief whip, included as part of the members of the troika, your council speaker and the executive mayor. Greetings to the members of the mayoral committee here present, the ward councillors, particularly those who are from the 3 wards, Ward 7, Ward 8 and Ward 9 of Inxuba Yethemba. Greetings to the officials from SANRAL, the officials of the municipality as led by the municipal manager. I am equally pleased, and I hope Executive Mayor, learning from yesterday's experience, that all members, or rather representatives of the, or rather from PSCs of all the projects that are to be handed over today are here present, because they not only are members of the PSC, but importantly, they then are representatives of the communities where some of these projects are currently being implemented. Ukuba bakhona bonke masibabulise ngokupheleleyo. I also want to greet ilungu le mayoral committee of Chris Hani, Councillor Mbochane, and all members of the community of Inxuba Yethemba, particularly in Middelburg area or unit as part of the 2 units within this municipality. Of course, Executive Mayor, I am not MEC Madigizela. He should have been here. I personally, sometime last week, assisted in ensuring that he confirms to be part of the program today, and indeed that happened. The office of the executive mayor was in constant contact with his office. However, I just wish to further tender an apology on his behalf. He was said to be here until afternoon yesterday. As the member of the executive of the provincial cabinet, he serves in the cabinet as led by the Honorable Premier, and therefore in the afternoon yesterday there was a directive from the office of the Premier that all MECs are to meet the President of the country today, and no apologies were to be allowed. And therefore, I just wish to say to the community of Middelburg that MEC Madikizela was supposed to be here. He was committed to be part of this program. However, the directive from the office of the Premier, noting the importance that all the members of the provincial cabinet were to be in a meeting as confirmed and convened by the President of the country, who is here in the Eastern Cape today. I thought, Executive Mayor, it's important that I indeed start there, so that ingabi ngathi u-MEC uyabaleka ukuza kule community yalapha eNxuba Yethemba. Yesterday we were in Cradock, and we noted that the handing over of projects yesterday was in alignment with a very important day in the history of our people's struggle, in that yesterday was the 6th of April, and noting that in the history of our own people, the 6th of April is a very important calendar day, because it is a day where one of the sons of this country was hanged, uSolomon Mahlangu. And we had to reflect on the importance of the day yesterday. Of course, we want to further indeed say that the fact that some of these projects are handed over in April, to us it means something. To us it means that the decision taken by the municipal council to undertake this program in the month of April also recognizes the fact that the month of April is a month in our district named after Chrizani, and hence the name Chrizani District Municipality. And to that extent, Chrizani District Municipality celebrates every year the life and times of Chrizani, and everything else that we do must then resembles the values that Utata Chrizani indeed held dear when he was still alive. And it is also a call on all of us to ensure that we try and put forth in ensuring the respect and implementation, and how all of us ought to conduct ourselves in line with the values zikatata uChrizani. But importantly, the month of April is a month of freedom. Many of you, or some of you, will know that we first held democratic elections on the 27th of April in 1994. And therefore, even government at a national level then decided that the month of April will accordingly be known as Freedom Month. Now, there is no freedom, even if you have achieved a political freedom, but the real meaning of freedom is how those who are entrusted with that power are able to change the lives of our own people, regardless of the history. Bendingene apha ke kuthethwa kusenziwa a reference between now and the history that we come from. And indeed, the real freedom of our own people should be mirrored in how, as government, we are able to develop our own people and change lives. And indeed, handing over some of these projects should actually go a long way in ensuring that our own people indeed can relate to the word freedom, and not just in how we preach about freedom and history, but also how in practical terms we are noticing a change in terms of our people's lives. However, we must equally, Executive Mayor, also use this opportunity to further indicate that 2021 and the month of April to us is quite as critically important because in 1995 there was the establishment of the local government. In terms of that arrangement at the time, we have your TLCs, and in some areas you had your TRCs. And if you calculate from that point from 1995 to date, indeed we are at 25 years in terms of the local government. However, the first democratic elections for local government were in 2000. And indeed, the current system of local government this year should just be over 20 years. And 20 years or 25 years of local government is to us a very important milestone, a milestone where we should be able as government, but also as municipalities. Again, importantly, because as you refer and use the word municipality at times, it then suggests that you talk to those who are within the municipality. However, our own definition at Krizani of what constitutes a municipality is that a municipality is constituted of three important components. The first one being the political leadership as elected. The second important component is the administration as led by the municipal manager and other appointed officials. But the most important, which is the third component of what constitutes a municipality, is the community. There is no municipality without the community. And to that extent, we then believe that as communities, as the elected political leadership, as the appointed officials who are your administration, drawing from the 25 years of local government, we should be able to indeed lift some of the achievements that the local government in the 25 years has made, because there is quite a lot that we can point in terms of what we're able to do as government, as municipalities, inclusive of our own people, because they are an integral part of what then constitutes a municipality. But